Hi everyone, this is Jona. Right, so I'm gonna reveal who the guest is Kim Stokes from Kindness for Success. She's a parenting coach for busy moms, especially, and working across two philosophies. But I'm gonna let Kim do the introductions.
Yeah,
it's amazing. All right.
I know, I love it.
I'm not sure why you agreed to join on a live after your full-on 16 hours live streaming.
Glutton for punishment.
Yes. Okay, cool. That's a wrap up anyway. Fantastic. Kim, whilst you move around, I'm going to do a little intro about you, but then I'm going to leave the floor to yourself.
Perfect.
For a more concise and more detailed intro rather than me reading through the notes. As you do.
Do it.
Right.
Do it.
Again, Kim is a parenting coach. She's the founder of Kindness for Success. By the way, she just live streamed and hosted a 16 hours live streaming for the charity Mind, raising funds for Mind. Mind is a great charity who helps young people in UK with any mental health issues or anything that they feel needing support from specialists in the field. So busy moms, I was talking about busy moms. I think we both have busy moms in here.
Yeah.
Kim, give us the introductions, tell us who you are, what you do, and what inspires you to do what you do.
Yes, thank you so much. Well, first off, thank you for having me, and it's a pleasure. As you have said, so I'm a coach, and I work predominantly with women, predominantly with working mums. And I started my business Kindness for Success in April of this year, so I'm still in year one. And then prior to that, I had sort of 15, 16 years in senior HR roles in big corporates. So for a few different reasons, I decided to set out on my own, which I always thought I would do when I was sort of a grown up. And then now I am married with 2 kids, 43, you know, and you're like, okay, maybe now is the time. In terms of what inspires me is, I guess, to do what I do is, I guess, through times that I've had, I guess, challenges within my life, coaching has really supported me. So to be able to give that back to somebody is really important. But also, I guess, a couple of the philosophies behind my business Kindness for Success. The first is around flipping the notion of sort of having it all to having your all, and the way we go about that is through extending ourselves kindness in the same way that we do to others. And I guess in the past I was that person that was trying to live up to the like having all, you know, having a senior big career, you know, having perfectly behaved children, having a show home, you know, doing all my fitness goals, being a great wife, being a friend, all of those sort of things. And I realized that, yes, on the surface, maybe it looked like I was, but actually the reality was very different. So I feel very privileged to be in a position where I can support others, you know, trying to define their all instead of this elusive having it.
I have one question. I'm going to kick off with the questions. I've prepared 3 questions.
Yes,
in the format
I have prepared for them.
Yes, as we usually do in the format of Empower and Thrive, a holistic approach in business, or to the business, whatever people want to play with around those words. As long as it's very holistic and it's from heart, we're here to share our journey and our experience with the viewers. Right. So my first question. Actually, no, I'm going to make a little, I'm going to add something up. Like, you mentioned that everybody is like, not everybody, but you started off because you were thinking, oh, let's flip the coin. Not everybody can have it all, but you can have your all, right? So I want to understand how can you have your own all whilst you cannot have all?
Yeah.
So that's different.
So it's a great question. And for me, you know, there is obviously a nuance, but it's big. So for me, having it all is almost trying to achieve what we feel society, our friends, you know, I guess our childhood versions or whatever of ourselves feel like we should be. So almost those I feel like, I guess we grew up with the sort of fortunate generation where, we can be parents, we can have a career, we can do all of those things. But I think actually we took it to a level where it was unsustainable. So I think for me, the difference between having it all and having your all is spending time thinking about, okay, what does success mean to you? So, for example, what success means to me will be different to what it means to you, will be different to what it means to everybody, listening to this now. And there's something very liberating in that, because no longer are you trying to reach sort of the pinnacles of this perfection that is almost, in a way, perhaps for show, even if we don't realize it. Your everything that you do is defined by what success looks like on your terms. And also the other liberating thing about thinking about having our all versus it all is that it can change. So it may be that there's stages in your life where, okay, career is there's a promotion actually that you really want, and there's going to be a real focus on that. Okay, well, you can't do everything sustainably. So what is it that you need to pull back on? And it may even be having some, honest conversations with friends and saying like, oh, okay, I love you, I'd like to spend time, but actually, for the next couple of months, I need to be head down. And when I'm not working, I want to be spending time with the family. So, please bear with me, I'll be here. So for me, there is quite a distinction because it is defined by us, and that in itself is very liberating.
Actually, you anticipated, thanks for answering my question, but also you anticipated a little bit about comparison. So we have talked with other guests about comparison, and they don't necessarily have to be in a mindset in industry, let's say, or it's not an industry, obviously, but, it's not related to the mindset work, but it's related to us as business owners. So obviously the talks are addressed to business owners, but not only. Obviously, moms who are looking for a career change, parents, or even entrepreneurs or enthusiasts out there who are looking for this change. I want to understand, how can we incorporate the self-kindness authentically? Because self-kindness authentically is different from self-kindness based what the platforms are saying, what the digital world, what the social media is talking to us. So how can we incorporate that in a holistic way, obviously?
So I think that is a great question. And I think, again, first off, it starts with defining again what does self-kindness look and mean to you. And I think we've all got, when we think of self-kindness, there's sort of a sliding scale, isn't there? So it can be from the smallest things that I like to call sort of micro moments, which might be putting on your favorite song and like dancing around the kitchen, for a minute maybe before a call that you're worried about or something, through to the things that we more traditionally think of, so whether it's a spa day or, going away with friends or something like that, and I think those things sometimes feel like, oh, how am I going to make time for that? For me, there's, in terms of the how, I had quite a big mindset shift on this myself, because again, I was that person that felt, well, that's a bit self-indulgent. I haven't really got time for that. And always would put myself to the bottom of the list. Now, I guess what I have realized is that you can do that, and perhaps it will work for a certain period. But actually it isn't sustainable. So if we want to show up for those people most important to us, as well as ourselves, then we need to be showing ourselves self-kindness to enable us to do that. So someone said to me, actually, if you think about, if you struggle to take time for yourself and feel like, oh, it's indulgent or it's a luxury, then think about it as actually you're doing it for your husband, your partner, your kids, your friends, because actually that is then enabling you, as I say, to be the wife, the mother, the friend that that you want to be, rather than a frazzled, knackered, shouty, exhausted shell of yourself, essentially.
Thank you, Kim. I know the session, so the live is not about me, definitely not. It's about you, and what you can share and what you can advise the audience. But what I've done, I think I've taken on board your thoughts, your suggestion, without even knowing that you were going to suggest this on the live today. But yes, I've decided to do a little bit of act of kindness. This is self-kindness in this perspective. So I've decided that the week leading to Christmas, it's been the busiest so far in years for me. Not because of the kids or family, but what I've done, I've introduced me time with other people, with friends that are not part of the business world, of my business world. They are not clients of mine. They are not family members. They are not relatives. They are not other kids. But that's been just for me.
Yes.
And I have to say, it works.
Well,
it works great. And to you, obviously, for sharing this with us today. Thank you very much. But it works.
Yes.
It works because I feel energized. I've crammed everything in a week that I cannot believe I've done it so far. It's not me, but I've done it. And it's great. Yes. So keep up promoting your message, Kim, sending out there what people can do as a self-kindness to boost their mental health.
Absolutely.
By the way.
Absolutely.
So it's great.
Absolutely.
It's fantastic. Right. My second question, I think we've done 3 or 4 in the meantime. Never mind. Let's go back to the
It's the beauty of live, isn't it?
But I like to keep to my schedule, really.
Okay.
Planning in advance, getting my things ready. I talk a lot about scheduling, content ready.
Yeah.
So this is a bit of content. Sorry about that. Right. So I've got here. Yes, I want to go back to the imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
It's so much talked about it everywhere. Coaches, specialists, experts, they are advocates. They are talking a lot about the imposter syndrome. I don't want to go in details. What is the imposter syndrome? So I don't want to go into those details of the technical, or let's say the broad term of it. But I want to understand, how can busy entrepreneurs incorporate or remove in this case, they are not supposed to incorporate the imposter syndrome, but what tools, how can they remove that imposter syndrome from their busy life?
Yes, another really good question. So I think first off, and some people may disagree, but I think what I've learned over the past few years is actually, we can't ignore it. It is there. So I think there's part of it as well as about accepting and embracing, rather than sort of wasting energy trying to push it away. However, tools that, and I thought long and hard about this question, so tools to support what I have found useful. The first one is always remembering that you are not alone, whether you're, whether you're Mother Pucker or whether you're Richard Branson or whoever. Any entrepreneur out there has had and will still have imposter syndrome. I don't, no matter how famous or all of those sorts of things. So we all get it, and I think there is something reassuring, in that it's sort of, it's not just me. I think the second thing is to really leverage the network that you already have. So how can you speak to people either that are entrepreneurs themselves about their own journeys, or I'm feeling a bit, I call it wobble. I say like, I'm feeling a bit wobbly at the moment, and they might say, I've had that, and sometimes just a conversation like that can help. Or it might be you just need to have a chat with a friend. It's like, look, give yourself a break. You've done this, that, and the other. It's all natural. All of those sorts of things. And another is, so thirdly would be, whilst it can seem even more difficult when we're experiencing imposter syndrome, actually extending your network within your space. So for example, you and I didn't know each other, not what, 3 months ago. Same with a lot of the people that I had on my live stream last week, I've only known in the last few months. So yes, it can feel difficult when we're feeling that like, oh, who am I to, go to these networking sessions, or who am I to say that, I'm an entrepreneur? But actually, the more you surround yourself with people that are in not the same boat, but similar things, again, there's that sort of camaraderie. Again, you get opportunities such as this now to, almost, as I say, not push away the imposter syndrome, but to be like, do you know what? I know that you're here to keep me safe, but actually it's okay. I've got this. And I interviewed a lady called Julie Smith on my live stream, and she's author of a book called Coach Yourself Confident. So anyone that does struggle with sort of imposter syndrome and sort of practical ways to, as I say, almost quieten it or learn to, make peace with it, that's a really good read. And I would recommend.
Pop the link or the details of the book on of
Okay, fab.
of the author.
Yes, I will.
So anyone wants to connect, or we want all to expand our network anyway. So that's one of the marketing bits that we focus on anyway, as busy entrepreneurs or business owners. Kim, I have another question for you. I'm not sure. I don't think we touched on that. So I want to understand, how can we balance the kindness? How can we fit the kindness as one of the things on our to-do list as busy entrepreneurs? I'm not going to say as busy moms, because it's not
as busy
just from moms.
No.
Busy founders, entrepreneurs, or enthusiasts of any sort of industry. We can be creatives, we can be whatever we are, basically.
Yes, absolutely. And this isn't just for parents, absolutely not. So, and I think you just touched upon it there in part of the question. For me, we need to give it the importance that it deserves. So if that means needing to schedule it into your working day, your working week, then do so. I think for that to work, however, it needs to be treated the same as if it was a meeting, if it was a meeting with a client. Now, of course, if there's a client wants to meet you at a time where you've blocked out something to do for yourself, if you have wiggle room later that day or something, then fine. I'm not saying be, totally rigid, but I guess it's treat it with the same respect and commitment that you would to other meetings. That has really worked for me. So at the start of my week, I will sort of look at, okay, what have I got? And actually, I'm a bit old school, so I've got obviously all of the online stuff, but there's nothing for me. I love a paper diary. So I also have everything, and then I have it color coded. And one color is clients, one color is like business development, another is stuff that I'm doing with the kids or kids activities, and another is time for me. So that actually at a glance, I can be like, oh, wow, look at next week. It's all work. And actually, or I've got no me time in, or only a couple of things. Now, I think as well, there's being realistic in terms of there will be ebbs and flows, but as long as you're conscious of that. And I'll give you an example. So when I was building up, so this time last week, when I was building up to my marathon live stream for Mind, which you kindly mentioned earlier, I was pushed for time and I didn't do the amount of exercise that I usually would, but I was okay with that because I consciously was like, okay, also I need to conserve my energy because I'm going to be streaming for a long time. I need to focus on sleep, eating well, all of those sorts of things. And I knew that actually once that was done, then I'll be able to like I did a HIIT class this morning, I'm going to go for a run tomorrow, like I've got some other bits scheduled. So again, it's not being like, oh, I need to have X amount of hours for myself every week. But I think if you look across a month, what are the things that you're doing just for you? So I think there's definitely something scheduling. I guess another piece is who can support you, who can support keeping you accountable. So whether it's a partner, whether it's a friend, whether it's a colleague, once we've said it out loud. So for example, if you were saying, oh, do you know, I'm going for dinner 2 nights with friends this week, and then I'm going to go to the gym. Let's say you've said it, you then someone will probably say, oh, did you go for dinner last night with your friend? And if you've cancelled it because you feel like, oh, you're too busy or whatnot, then you feel bad for cancelling, but also then you're like having to admit that no, because I didn't prioritize that kindness to myself. So I think that's another thing that works well. And then finally, sorry, I know I talk a lot, but start small. I think if you're at the moment, if you look at and you're showing yourself no kindness, then if you're like, oh wow, okay, I need to suddenly book in 5 hours of things for myself this week, you're setting yourself up probably to fail and then feel worse. So even if it's 5 or 10 minutes a couple of times this week, you're going to close yourself in a room and do some stretching, or sit with a book and a cup of tea, no screens. Just start small and then sort of build on it.
Would you agree with me that everything we do, even if it's kindness for success, so it's the element that will lead us or will support us in our success, would you agree that if we do everything with a strategy in mind or intentionally, that will give the benefits in the long term? So we'll build up to what we're planning towards to. So would you rather say that, yes, if you do that, let's say every week 10 minutes, or every day 5 minutes, or every other day, whatever the days, doesn't matter what pattern you follow. But would you rather say that if you do something intentionally, you'd rather do that intentionally than not do it at all, or do it randomly?
Oh, 100%. I think almost like anything, if you're running your own business, if you're running an organization, if you're running a home, whatever it is, if you've got a strategy, if you've got sort of the pinnacle of where you want to be, then to me, as that word you use, I really like that intentionality, absolutely ladders to get you there. And I think two things. The first is it's almost a bit like in James Clear's Atomic Habits, and he talks about sort of, is it habit stacking? I think it is. All of those things, they might seem, oh, that's so small. I've like sat and, just with myself for 5 minutes with no screens. So is that really going to make a difference? Well, actually, yes, and over time, those things do stack. I think the second thing is just to be, I guess, realistic. And what I mean by that is that no matter how good your intentions are, there will be weeks where, I don't know, you get sick, or you lose you thought you were going to get a new client signed and you don't, or you get dumped, or I don't know, something that happens and sets you back, and then you might get again that imposter syndrome, or you might even do a bit of the old self-sabotage. Oh well, oh great, well it's all wrong, and oh whatever, I may as well, this isn't going to work, I'm going to pack up and it's not working anymore. So I think it's as well being, we will all have those days, and that's okay. But I think the more that we do these little micro moments, or these little, kindness stacking, the more resilient and the quicker that we'll get ourselves out of those dips. And again, using the other tools I talked about in terms of, leveraging the network you've got, using the new network that you're developing, reminding yourself that everything you're feeling and thinking, you won't be alone, can really help.
Right. So we are in the last 2 minutes of the live. So I want to give the floor to anyone wanting to ask any question to you, Kim. Not to me in this case. You could, guys, but I'm not sure I'm going to be able to answer any of those. I can pass them on to Kim if you want, either here on live, if you want to pop them in the comments, or please send them Kim's way, obviously in DM. Obviously, again, you can send them to me and then I'll share with Kim. But please, any question if you have now, I'll wait a couple of seconds. 1, 2, 3. I'll give you extra time. I'll be kind for success. But yes, if you have any questions, please, if you feel comfortable, popping them in the comments here on the live. Otherwise, you can do them later or at your own time.
But while we're seeing if anyone puts one in, I thought I would just share that if anyone's like, where is she like randomly? So I'm actually at Battersea Power Station
In London.
and I met it in London, and I've got a sort of date day with my husband because he managed to get holiday, and we'd had this scheduled, haven't we? And I was like, oh, is there any chance to move it? And then we were like, actually, no, we can still do it. So I thought I could have been like, oh, I can't do it. And I was like, no, I'm still showing myself kindness and still being able to do this and honoured to do it, but in a way where we can see all these lovely sparkly Christmas trees. But yeah, so that's where I am right now.
Fantastic. You see, when you schedule, when you're intentional,
Exactly.
with your strategy, with your business, with everything else, the success comes. So this is a successful day for you, I guess.
Very.
Doesn't have to be always business and sales and whatever.
Exactly.
Obviously, that's helpful.
To show ourselves kindness. Yes.
Yes, fantastic. All right. Kim, one last question. If
Yes.
you have one great tip, or I say great, but it has to be great anyway, because it's coming from you. So any tip, again, about how to be kindness and beat that imposter syndrome in our daily life. You can wrap it
Yeah.
up.
Yeah, no, you're like, oh, come on, yeah. So I think, again, it's just to know you're not alone. Yeah, you're not alone, whether it's, like I say, your current network, family, friends, other entrepreneurs, whatever you're feeling, it is not just you, and you have got this.
Wonderful. Well, fantastic. I think we're on the dot. I can't
Oh,
believe we're
look at
wrapping up on the dot. Again, if anyone has any questions, send them
Yes,
Kim's way, please,
please
or
do.
pop them in the comments. And please follow Kim and connect with Kim.
Yes, thank you. At
To
kindness
the
dot
journey.
dot.
Not
But
just your
yes,
journey,
thank you so much.
but the support of for network and a community that you have built around yourself and your business.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for inviting me on.
For anyone wanting to connect with Kim, please do follow her, and let's cheer up for you, Kim.
Thank you
Thank you again.
so much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everybody.
See you soon. Bye, everybody.
See you soon. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, Kim. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.